Hey there, Starcraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, it's going to be a match between Zest and soO here on New Repugnancy, the latter edition. Bottom left-hand corner is the red Zerg player soO, and in the top right-hand corner, it is the blue Protoss player Zest. Can I tell you something? My brain said that was purple for a second there. I have 3 brain cells remaining because my kids keep taking them. Alright, so PVZ here on New Repugnancy. I love this matchup. I love soO. I love Zest. I like Home Story Cup. This is Home Story Cup number 19. Next one is going to be number 20. I wonder if they'll do anything special for that. Gateway first here from Zest. Not going to do a cannon rush. And holy smokes, what is going on here? Okay, so whack, whack. Hitting here, blocking the expansion. Oh, does get it down. And I think soO's going to go for the proxy hatch up here too. soO does love these proxy hatches, man. We've seen him do it recently on the channel. Or maybe that's later. I don't know, but look at this. Either he's blocking the expansion. I just love an aggressive Zerg player. You don't have to be on the defensive all the time, Zergs. You can totally sit back. Well, you can totally sit back and be passive if you want, but you can also be aggressive if you want to. It's wonderful. Protoss and Terran don't know what's going on if the Zerg is super aggressive all the time. Especially in the first couple minutes here. So he delays the expansion, not probably longer, I think, than Zest delayed his, if I had to estimate there. But nothing too crazy going on otherwise. Pro doing a little harassment on the mineral line. Drone's probably going to go home at this point, or maybe just throw up a proxy hatch, like right here. Hey, hang on. Based on this path he's taking, he doesn't have the resources for it. He really wants to see what's coming in, if there's a zealot or not. So he's going in for scout number 2. It does take the third hatch up here in the traditional location up the left side. So that's not crazy at all. And then just throwing up a pylon. And Adept, yes. Adept on the way, probably to get rid of this drone. And what that does is delays the Adept from getting out across the map. So that's kind of a good thing for soO. You can delay his lings a tiny bit if he wants. If his queens are late, it doesn't really matter all that much either. Let's see what the Adept does. Is the Adept not even being chrono boost? So maybe he's going to go after the drone here. Drone is not interested in staying alive. Drone recognizes there is definitely an Adept on the way, but I think what the drone wants to see is that second level tech. What comes up after the cybernetics core? That's what this drone's job is figuring that out. Oh, blocks the expansion or the extractor attempt there. Well played. You can do that, by the way. If you want to stop something from building on extractor, put a probe right next to it, or a drone or an SCB, and nothing can be built on top of it while that drone or the worker exists. Good stuff. All right, so fun little opening 3 minutes there in our ZVP. Enjoying that. Adept shows up. There's already a queen here ready to get some free shots off, and yeah, that's where you want to position it. So when it shows up, extra shots, extra shot, extra shot, and then the lings have a little bit of an easier job killing it when that time comes. 2 lings and a queen, enough to deal with that, especially with the extra shots being taken early. And then more and more shots here. All the Adept wanted to know was there a third base from soO or not, and got that information. And it's good to head the heck on out of there. Meanwhile, tech is going to be... There we go, Oracle. Oracle on the way. Oracle almost done. Oracle is done. Oracle's name is Game of Thrones, the officially licensed browser game. The developers of the Game of Thrones browser game has ads everywhere, playing all the time, but no one is actually playing. They hacked into this Oracle to blast knowledge of their game directly into people's minds. However, the game is so terrible that knowing too much about it does the exact same damage as regular Oracle blasts. So here we go. Spore Crawler pops up just in time to get a shot off. Oh, the queens. No! Officially licensed browser game. Why? Yeah, that is a thing. I've watched a couple of videos on that, actually. And for whatever reason, HBO has chosen to license a horrible game from China as its official browser game for Game of Thrones. It makes no sense. It's a terrible game. It's bad. There are typos everywhere. It's not fun. It's one of those, like, time-locked... I mean, every browser game is like this. Like, right, you time-lock behind time gates before you can do anything. It's just not good. It's really bad. Not well executed. HBO should honestly be ashamed for approving that. Adept pushing out here. Resonating Glaives on the way. And a robotics facility coming up behind it. So Phoenix trying to deal with Overlords, Adepts, and they don't have, again, no Resonating Glaives, but a couple of queens, some lings here, 4 queens actually. Enough to make sure the Adepts don't want to come in here. And the Adepts decide to head back home until Resonating Glaives is actually done. How interesting. Oh, a Stasis Sword did get tossed down, catching a single drone. Because soO's reaction time is just that good. He's just that good at this game. Creep spread, trying to push on out here, but... well, the Adepts don't want that to happen, is the general concept here. Concept? That's not a word at all. Falcon, come on. Creep Tumor, get down. Get down. Oh! What? Seriously? 1 HP. That was several Adept shots, and it did not die. Lings, I don't know if you want to come in here. There aren't any Banelings, but there's enough Lings and Queens to shut it down. Oracle trying to sneak on over here. Game of Thrones, the officially licensed browser game. Gonna get a couple more kills, which is nice for a total of 2. Well, I'm gonna get 3 here. By more kills, I mean first kills. Because didn't get anything on that first time around where all the Queens were totally ready for her. Third Nexus on the way here from Zest. A 4th base probably should start happening from soO at some stage here as well. Oh, and yes, I did forget to mention, this is a special Patreon cast. For those of you who support me on patreon.com/FalconPaladin. If you're hearing it now, though, and you're not a patron, it's just because I do release these a month after they originally post on patreon.com/FalconPaladin. So if you want extra casts during the week of stuff that no one else can see, Patreon is the place to be. Again, as little as $1 a month is all it takes if you're interested. If not, don't worry about it. Doesn't stress me out, that's for sure. Queen's fighting here against these Resonating Glaives Adepts. War Prism is forced to get out of there just because Queen DPS is insane against them. Overseer scouts in to see what's going on. There's just Immortals here, Sentries, Adepts in the mix here. So slowing down soO a little bit with this harassment. Total of 7 drones have gone down. But it is 58 workers in favor of the Zerg player there to 48. And 60-44 on the army supply. Still, interestingly enough, no 4th base from soO, which to me indicates he wants a big old army. He wants to go take down that 3rd, which is fairly well protected here, but this largely Adept Sentry force isn't going to do much versus a Roach Ravager Ling battle. Ling attack that is going to get in here sooner rather than later. Trying to drop Adepts at the 3rd base again. The army has moved out, whittling down 5 more drones during that attack, and then just picks up everybody and gets out of there. That pickup range is fantastic, and then recalls off of this high ground. Amazing, amazing stuff there. The damage was done. I mean, he was moving out. soO was moving out to an attack, and now he's not. Now he's worried about the War Prism coming back in. It delayed the attack. Zest playing this pretty fantastically well, honestly. Zergling comes in to see what is here exactly. Nothing, really? Literally nothing, but the army is here stationed to protect both the front door of the natural and the 3rd base as necessary. Hallucinating Phoenix continually scouting, and a 4th base is now coming up from soO in the top left. It's late, but that's because we have this big old giant Roach Ravager army here. Baneling Nest coming up. Yeah, you do want Banelings to deal with the Adepts mostly. I mean, sure, Roaches and Ravagers do well against them, but you want their damage to go against the scary stuff like these Immortals, if at all possible. And if the Lings get wiped out because of the Resonating Glaive Adepts, then yeah, you have a harder time with those Immortals without Ling surrounds and wraparounds there. Storm's on the way. There are High Templar generating energy. 5th base now coming in from soO too. Creep spread is almost up to that 3rd. It's as close as you can get without touching it, I think, at this stage. Phoenix, hallucinated, long-distance mining drones. Okay, I mean, we're basically to the point where the Zerg player kind of wants to attack in, but coming up that ramp is probably suicide. This ramp, too, also probably suicide, so he might be pulling back and just look to just deny a 4th base, or wait for Zest to move out on creep and then kill him there. That's good, too. Ling's going for the surround so nobody can go home. Oh my gosh, the massacre here. Yeah, too much Zerg. Immortals are getting picked up and saved by the War Prism. Again, MVP of this match. Few units go down, and just being careful to soO. Did not want to go up that ramp. He didn't know if Storm was done yet. It wasn't. I think he could have had some great success going up that ramp. He decided not to instead. Centrifugal Hooks is on the way. Storm is now done, and now coming up the ramp is a lot harder. Just because it will be stormed into oblivion every time you try to come up. So, soO had a bit of a window to get in there and take that 3rd down, I think. He was maybe worried about the cannons a bit. Maybe worried about the Immortal Micro. But, man, this tire fire. It's not a tire fire. It's a crashed battle cruiser, but it looks like tires because that circle always throws me off. Initially there, soO wants to open up as many attack paths as possible to get across the map there. Centrifugal Hooks is done. Banelings are rolling in. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep those banelings rolling. Phoenix scouting stuff out. Another observer's up here. Could get corrosive bile down if it is detected. You do not bring an observer with you, or an overseer with you. No. Why don't you have an overseer with this army? Very strange indeed. Resources lost here. Fairly even to this point. Fourth base is being established by soO. Got those shield batteries and cannons coming up. The depths defending against Ling harass here too. Lings are not taking this down. You have to commit your whole army to do it, which very possible. And Zest, I think, is getting a little bit worried about protecting everything. He's got his units spread out on line here. He wants to be able to respond to attacks very well until, you know, he's maxed out and he can actually move out here. So 5 basin, though. 5 basin happily. Here is soO. Still 3 basin it is Zest. Hasn't really been able to slow down the Zerg economy all that much. Although, here we come. Zealots creeping up to this 4th base. And they're going to get some stuff done, that's for sure. They don't. Oh, they do have charge. Okay. So they're going after some drones. Some of them are trying to focus on the hatchery. The queen trying to save the day there too. But enough lings are in. Well, they're here now. I'm going to say en route, but they're here now. 2 drones go down, and no real damage is sustained there. But guess what? DT's on the way now. Recognizing there was no detection up here at this base, and there's still not. There's no spore. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on, hang on. Does he know there's DTs here now? Is he making overseers? Production tab says no. He's going for corruptors. He's gonna. Oh, did he just baneling that? Oh, hang on. We'll check that out. Okay, that's all that was. Yay, banelings. All right, so didn't do a whole lot other than taking out a couple of those cannons, which annoying, but not otherwise too scary. Oh, a spore is trying to get up here and burrow. Okay, fantastic. So he knows about the DT threat now. The Ling went up to see what was coming out of that War Prism, recognized it was DTs, has detection available. Zealot's coming into the 5th base now, getting handled pretty well by Lings and Ravagers and Spines. Spines especially, man. Static defense, serious business against Protoss, and, well, Zerg too. And Terran, seriously. Although Terran does a better job just wiping it out when they show up with their army. 6th base thrown down here by soO. But seriously, against Zealot and Ling run-bys, Spine Crawlers are really good. They're good. Cannons are good, too. Planetary Fortresses. Terran's pretty good at it. I consider a Planetary Fortress to be static defense that they have to sacrifice economy for. So Terran understands the importance of going for PFs. Meanwhile, more and more Corruptors coming in right now, working on +2 melee attack, double. We got Tempest and Carrier in production now. Remember what I said about going up the ramp? Yep, that is officially your going up the ramp update from Falcon Paladin. Bad things happen. Storm is infinite. Storm never ends. That's what I have learned in trying to beat Protoss at my level on ladder, is you think the 4th storm was all they had? No. They have 8 more, thanks. Hey, look, another one. Banelings dying, getting nothing done. I mean, in fairness, if the Protoss did not have Storm here, he'd just be dead. So that's the reason it exists. It's just really good. Triple pumping Tempest. I almost feel like soO would do better not making Broodlords at this point. DTs and a huge warping of Zealots, man. Trying to snipe down the spawning pool, which they're going to get. That's too much damage on top of that. War Prism gets chased away by Corruptors. So these guys are alone, and they can't take down the Hive because there's too many Banelings and everybody else coming this way. You're not getting this Greater Spire either. Thanks for asking, though. Warp Prism does get killed by one of these Corruptors. This guy, actually. This man in particular. So 6th base is done for soO, sitting on 78 workers. He's got a ton of economy pouring in all the time he's maxed out. He's getting a pretty nice bank here. This does not look good for Zest, I don't think. He needs to win a major engagement here and kill a base, I think, before he's going to win this game. I know we're only 13 minutes in, but seriously. Now, the good news is he has a ton of Tempests, as I mentioned previously. A ton of Tempests. And, whoa, recovered from replay. Man, somebody's game crashed, or somebody's computer crashed, I guess. Corruptor count doesn't seem really high enough to deal with the Tempest before before they wreck all of these Broodlords. So, again, I just totally think at this stage of the game, do you just go for Corruptor here? Don't worry about the Broods? I've seen this work recently. Here's the Spores. All right, this is the thing Protoss players hate. You throw up the Spores at the front to deal with the Carriers, which, by the way, are there any Carriers? We saw one in production earlier. I'm not sure if there's actually one on the field, though. Maybe that was an accident, because all he has are Tempest and Void Rays right now. More storms happening. Changelings going in to see what we're dealing with here, and the answer is a couple High Templar with tons of energy on them. Spore Crawler takes down the Observer instantly. That's a major win already there. This creep spread by soO is disgusting. He's got creep up 3/4 of the map. Anywhere Zest steps out onto the map, there is creep. Free Immortal, though. That's pretty good. Broodling free unit taking down an Immortal there. All right. All right. Thinning that Immortal count out. Going for it anyway. God, the storms, though. Yeah, he knows this army is actually slow moving. He's just sacking this base. He's trying to... the thing is, he can't move out to actually kill a base. He has to move out to clear creep. And it slows him down immensely here. Never mind. Screw clearing creep. It's time to go. He's losing this base, and he knows it. Now, the question is, can the Broodlords and Corruptors show up in time to handle this action? There are some Infestors in the mix. Corruptors do take down a Tempest. Nicely done. And then Broodlings getting some fires down on the ground. They're dealing with the Archons and the Zealots. Archon down, Zealot down. Queen's coming over to deal with the... well, with the Zealots on the left side here, too. Tempests. Getting those shots on those Broodlords. That's what I'm talking about here. There are too many Void Rays. They got chain fungled, but they're not dead yet. And Zest does manage to win that engagement. Remember what I said about losing... well, winning an engagement and killing a Zerg base. That's what he needed to do to win this game. So far, so good. Except he lost a base in the process, which is not good. These... oh, this bad rally on these Corruptors. soO. Oh, he just lost 5 or 6 Corruptors for effectively nothing. He did get a Void Ray, I guess, which is not bad. Oh, that Void Ray dies to Spores, which is horrible for the Protoss player there, too. Army supply 167 in favor of Zest. These Tempests doing some work here. 18 kills on that Archon, 17 kills on that Archon, 16, 14, 23, and 19 on these Immortals. And suddenly, this is what we're talking about. Got to take down a base, win an engagement, and Zest he doesn't have a huge army. It's not the biggest army I've ever seen. He's at 167 supply, but he is going to take that down. This hatchery, no question about it. A ton of Lings coming in and deal with these Zealots at least. And then Banelings here to deal with the ground army too. Corruptors trying to sneak around the outside. There's the recall. What can you kill before they get recalled out? A Tempest. And maybe a couple Zealots in there too. A bunch of people do get out there. Army supply now 106 to 91, but it was a bunch of Ling spam. Ling and Baneling spam here for soO, but I guess army is army at this stage. So, Hatch goes down for soO, but a Nexus got sniped here too for Zest. Ended up losing that sucker. And at this and 10 drones went down too. So soO's only at 57 workers right now. He's trying to replace his drone count a little bit. His bank is not what it used to be. He's going Corruptors. He's bringing in the Broodlords again, defending against potential attacks that could come from Zest at any time. But Zest pulling back. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose that 4th base. Losing this would be absolutely monumentally catastrophic for him. He cannot lose this base under any circumstances whatsoever. And that's why he's staying home to make sure that doesn't happen. Replacing the 5th base here is soO. 6th base happily running and being mined from at this stage of the game. Got a lot of bases with a lot of resources coming in right now. And they're going for it. They're thinking about going for it, but the entire army of Zest is here, so no. Nope, gotta bounce back and forth, man. Honestly, Zest would really just stay protecting this base. I think he's pretty well protected at the front door, although that's not a wall. Ling run-bys are fairly scary at this point. His attention to where these Lings are needs to be on point. We've seen that, you guys. We've seen that before. Just Ling run-bys getting into the Protoss production and killing stuff. Pretty scary stuff, especially considering they have +3 attack. Do they have any armor upgrades? They don't. Surprisingly, no Carapace upgrades at all. They do have Adrenal Glands, though, so I mean, technically Cracklings. +3 attack is done for the ground units for Zest. +2 air weapons is done for him, too. Shield upgrade is done. Protoss do like using that. What are these dead drones? Couple drones died. Don't know what for. 200 to 176 supply. We've kind of reset the situation here. 134 to 119 army supply in favor of the Zerg. He does have the better economy here too, as his 5th base is back, and it is technically being mined from with all of 6 drones. Creep spread slowly getting cleared out right now. DT on creep clearing duty. Doing pretty well with it. Ah, the Lings get in on a 5th base attempt here by soO. That doesn't happen. Just takes it down, and then the Lings get out. No. You can have 4 bases. I'm not giving you 5, says soO. Sacrifice a bunch of Lings there, but He's okay with it. Replacing his Spores. Where the heck is he building Spores? Ah, down here at the 5th that he lost earlier. He feels like it would have been nice to have them the last time around, so why not? Creep spread is receding. soO sticking around on that creep. Changeling trying to join the army, and he does actually make it to get some intel before all is said and done. Ooh, charge lots here versus +3 attack cracklings. Not bad charge lots, but yet reinforcements had to come in and deal with the rest of that. Ooh, surprise banelings though would be pretty good. From the high ground, Zelts are not interested in doing that though, just cautious play here. Man, it's really anybody's match at this point. If Zest get this 5th base down, which not really a guarantee at this stage of the game. Oh, his army's out of position. Alright, well. Depowers everything, and there goes the Nexus. These roaches might all die, but they force a cancel on the base, and that's really all what they're there for. Actually, they're running pretty well here. Lings take down a shield battery before they go to their deads. Woo! Man, that 5th base not coming up. Every time that dies, it's just a little bit better for soO here. The potential for him to win this game is kind of through the roof at this stage. Continuing to get upgrades. +3 flyer attack is absolutely terrifying for things like Tempests and Void Rays. Void Ray count, real big, man. Real big. I'm not sure that Corruptors are what you want right now. Roaches. Look how fast they die to Voids and Archons, though. Nope, not today. More Changelings cruising on in. Both players doing really cautious stuff here, man. And they do manage to get in. I mean, I don't know what you're scouting necessarily. Oh, that probe kills all of you anyway. Never mind. How embarrassing. I mean, you're a Changeling, so you don't have much self-worth anyway, I don't think. But, man, having a probe kill you. All right, 5th base. Let's try this again, says Zest, because we really need this income. We are mined out pretty much everywhere else except for the 4th. When you have 55 workers on effectively 2 bases, it's too much. Nexus does come in without much issue forevermore. Exactly 30,000 resources lost for soO. How didn't see that? And 23,000 lost here for Zest. Yeah, man. I mean, soO hasn't launched an attack in quite some time, other than trying to deny the 5th base, which he did. He did a few times, but he's just taking a 7th base behind it. That is a 7th, right? Yeah, it certainly is. Up north here, Spores repositioning themselves to protect this new source of income. Carriers now in production here for Zest for reals this time. They're not just fake outs. And he's got that situation. The Storm, the Archons, the Void Rays, the Carriers, the Tempest. It's a really good composition, and Zest is going for a 6th base. Boy, he feels confident. 5th base done, 6th base coming in. And soO is kind of letting him have it. He's trying to make sure that he has the perfect composition to handle this, because this is traditionally a very hard composition for Zerg to deal with. There's so much splash damage in it. The Void Rays handle Corruptors exceptionally well, because you just go Corruptors normally against this, right? You're fine, but the Void Ray count is high enough to be scary. Some probes going down. DTs trying to figure out places where they can kill stuff. They do not. Instead, just get killed themselves. Are more probes? Dude, more probes are going down. You didn't successfully handle that. Oh, but if the Void Rays all get parasitic bombed and corrupted out of existence. Oh, that was big by soO. Took the Void Ray count down to just 3 or 4 there and severely injured. More chain fungals going in. Infested Terran's going to finish them off. Oh, no. Carrier down. Army supply, 115 to 100. soO has a minor lead here. Void Ray count is 3. Not as much as it needs to be here, and I think this might be it. Good game. Zest does tap out. He probably would have finished this situation if he had workers. Unfortunately, he doesn't. My goodness, this Zergling has 9 kills. This guy has 11. They just decimated and absolutely destroyed the 4th base. Oh, Zest. He warped in some Zealots to handle it, but there weren't enough, and then his attention was elsewhere. And then suddenly the Void Rays got caught out. They got fungal. They got parasitic bombed. Did they get parasitic bombed? Is that what that was? Maybe that was just a fungal. Just saw the green, and brain thought that it was something else. But okay. Immortals, not enough here. There's just not enough army at this stage to handle it. And it's just completely, without the Void Rays, everything just kind of falls apart. There's only 2 of them here. This base is going to die, and this base is already out. And he's down to 32 probes anyway, so Good game. Good game by soO. Good patient game there. Just nice job defending too. Ended up losing one hatchery through the course of the whole 24-minute thing, which is fine. And then just was able to kill a couple Nexuses and deny the 5th base for about 10 minutes from Zest, and that was it. In the end, that was it. I mean, he still had to have a good engagement over here. He still needed to catch those Void Rays out, and I kind of want to see the opening ball. It's right here-ish, isn't it? Because the Void Rays are faster than everything here, so they just kind of naturally push out in front here, which is where they don't want to be. And nyat, nyat, nyat. The fungals. Yeah, man. Catching 5 of them. Too many infestors, honestly. Too many infestors are still alive down here. They're getting stormed, but they're surviving fairly well. Yeah, and then the infested Terrans take down that carrier, and then there's just not enough left here. So, still can't believe these Lings, man. That was brutal. That was brutal, brutal, brutal stuff. All right, cool. So, overall, 33,000 resources lost for soO, 30,000 total for Zest, but just had more stuff to lose. So, soO could afford to be higher on that number. 13 infestors went down for the Zerg player, 8 broodlords, 1 hatchery, and a spawning pool. 174 lings, 46 creep tumors, 29 drones, 36 probes died. It's only 36 probes died, but it feels like it was so many more because they were all right at the end there is the thing. 22 of them died here in the last couple minutes, which is brutal stuff. 10 High Templar went down, 6 Archons, 53 Zealots, 10 Dark Templar, which didn't do a whole lot in this game. 15 Void Rays died, which is the big deal. And then 4 shield batteries. Whew. Good ZVP. Good ZVP from really the highest levels of StarCraft we could possibly ask for. But all right, that is going to be it for me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a very special patron edition of it. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. If you haven't already for some reason, I don't know why you would. Also check me out on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.